do a video today all about Inktober. So I've done Inktober for the last couple of years. The first year that I did it, I did manage to complete the whole thing, whereas last year didn't exactly go to plan. I do have a bit of a cold, so apologies if I sound a little bit croaky. But I thought it'd be really fun to show you the illustrations that I did from the last couple of years and just talk about what materials I used, tell you a bit more about what Inktober is if you don't know, and then yeah, just tell you my experience. So Inktober was started by a guy called Jake Parker. The internet says that he started it in 2009. I hadn't heard of it before, and I did it for the first time in 2016. So basically, if you don't know, you have throughout the whole of October, you do one ink drawing a day, and this could be in like marker pens or like pen and ink, any sort of type of art material that you can kind of shoehorn into that ink, what's the word I'm looking for, category. Every year there's an official prompt sheet. I know some people also make their own prompt sheets for other things, like there might be a sort of more of a Halloween-y type one. I've seen quite a few sort of like fantasy witchy type things, which are quite fun. But for the first year, I decided I wanted to use the prompt sheets, but I wanted to give myself some other sort of restrictions and give it a sort of overall theme. So I'm quite a film fan. Previously I worked in a couple of different cinemas, so I thought that I would try and match the prompts to various different films. The first prompt was fast, so immediately I thought of Speed, which I'm sure you've all seen Speed, as the film with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock. I decided that I was going to use marker pens. The types of pens that I had, I still actually have them, although I don't know if they really work very much anymore. So it's just got sort of pointed end, and then it did have a chiseled end, but when I'm looking at the drawings that I've done, I don't think I really used the chisel ends much. I think pretty much I was just shading in by doing lots and lots of lines. The next prompt was noisy, so I picked a film called What Maisie Knew, and I went for noisy. I don't know if you've seen the film, but her mum's a singer and she's going through a divorce. When I say she's a singer, she's like a rock star, I mean. And this girl is sort of in the middle of her parents breaking up and there's lots of arguments. But yeah, so I experimented with using a bit of colour here. It looks like my pen's actually running out. But yes, moving on. This was the first one that I was actually quite proud of. I'm getting a bit more confident with shading. I was quite happy with the likeness of all of them, and that I'd just chosen to use a little bit of red. The prompt for this was collect, and I'm hoping that you can tell that it is The Wizard of Oz. Number 4, the prompt was hunger, so obviously I was going to pick the Hunger Games. I do love Effie's outfits, I think they're amazing. This one I was quite proud of as well. This was the first one that I had done with the brush and liquid ink rather than the pens. But yeah, I'm not an expert, but I was having a go. Prompt number 5 was sad. I think I'd recently seen Help, and it was just one of those films that just made me cry lots, so that's the one that I thought of. Number 6, the prompt was hidden. So I went for Serenity. If you haven't seen Serenity, I definitely recommend it. It came after the series Firefly, if you ever watched that, which is a really fun sci-fi western sort of space series that was made by Joss Whedon, who did Buffy, and I'm a big Buffy fan. So the character River in it basically has some special powers, and when she hears this kind of jingle or something in this advert, it triggers her into performing all these kung fu moves or something along those lines. Subliminal messaging in adverts, that's what that's about. Number 7 was Lost, and I went for an illustration of The Labyrinth, which I love that film. It's one of my favourite films from my childhood and I still love it now. Definitely recommend it if you haven't seen it. It's got David Bowie in it. This is the moment where the main character Sarah can't quite remember what she's meant to be looking for. Number 8 was Cliff, so I went for Cliffhanger. Is that right? Number 8, where are we? Oh no, number 8 was Rock, and I went for Cliffhanger. I haven't actually seen Cliffhanger, but I think I was just like, what can I do for this? Prompts for number 9 was Broken. So I went for the film 12 Monkeys. You might be able to tell I quite like sci-fi films. I mean, I like lots of different films, but I quite like sci-fi films. 12 Monkeys is a Terry Gilliam film. It's got Bruce Willis in it, and it's also got Brad Pitt. And it's one of those films where you sort of think, is it about this? Or is it about that? Is it about time travel? Or are they actually stuck in a mental institute? I'm not really sure what's going on, but I quite like those films where I'm not really sure what's going on. This is a nice shot of Bruce Willis getting showered down because the world is a little bit broken. There's lots of chemicals and horrible things in the Earth's atmosphere. And if you volunteer to go outside, you need to be hosed down a lot. Number 10 was Jump. So I thought I'd do Trinity doing one of those massive jumps in The Matrix. We've all seen The Matrix, haven't we? We all know what The Matrix is about. Number 11, the prompt was Transport. So I thought I would do the Time Machine, just because that's quite a cool way of, well, you don't really move backwards and forwards, but in distance. But you get to move backwards and forwards in time, so that's cool. Number 12 was Scared, so I went for the King's Speech, just because speeches are scary things. I was quite happy with the shading that I did on this one. Oh, hang on. Backtrack. Number 12 was Worried, so I did the King's Speech. Number 13 was Scared, and I did The Stepford Wives. Another brilliant movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. There's something strange about the town, about lots of the women in the town. Number 14 was Tree, so I did Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy. I love Groot. 15 was Relax, so I did the scene from Pretty Woman where she's in the tub and just sort of singing along. I was really pleased with this one. I just feel that I captured her quite well. Number 16 is The Faculty. So The Faculty apparently came out in 1998. So the whole idea in The Faculty is that there's some teachers that have been taken over by aliens. The prompt for number 16 was Wet. So I went for this scene of some of the possessed teachers by the water cooler because the aliens need to stay hydrated a lot. Number 17 was Battle. So I decided I was trying to be a bit clever actually. I decided to do Fight Club, which obviously is about a fight club. If you've seen it, you'll know that maybe there's a bit of an internal battle going on as well. Won't say any more in case you haven't seen it. I mean, the film's been out for a while, but just in case. Number 18 was Escape, so I did the Shawshank Redemption. I think that was like a scene from the poster or something. Number 19 is Gattaca, and the prompt was Flight. Again, another sci-fi film. In Gattaca, there's this amazing sort of like spiraled staircase. There is a character who really wants to go into space, but for some reasons, which I won't go into too much, he's unable to do that, and then tries to take this other person's identity. Number 20 is Squeeze. So I went for this shot from Indiana Jones. He always seems... Does he lose his hat a lot in Indiana Jones, or does it just feel like he's always losing his hat, like, at the last minute? Number 21 was Big. So I did this shot from above from the film 1984. And I just loved, like, the shots, just how similar it all was, like them all in the cubicles, and just feel a little bit claustrophobic, and just the angle as well. Big Brother is watching you. Number 22 was Little. So I did the scene from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. You know, the one where he falls into the Cheerios and he's really tiny, and then he uses the Cheerio as like a rubber ring. And this I actually drew when I was on a boat trip going along the Thames, and I actually got a photo of it with the London Eye in the background. So I was doing these every day, on the actual day. I wasn't pre-planning. I didn't think, oh, I'll do 2 on one day so I can have a rest the next day. I was religiously doing them every day. Number 23 was Slow. So I did this drawing, just basically the lines for Inception. I think by this point, I was just feeling a bit tired. And I thought, I'm just going to do the lines. Number 24, the prompt was 1 dozen. So I went for Love Actually, and there is a link. So Love Actually is set around Christmas. There are 12 days of Christmas, so I could do Love Actually. Your octopus, sort of gooseberry type moment. Number 25 is Tired. So I did this scene from The Science of Sleep, which again, I really recommend that you watch The Science of Sleep. It's by the same person, Michel Gondry, who did Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Again, another one of my favourite films. It's a live action film, so it's, well, I was going to say it's a normal film. It's not really a normal film. Throughout it has all these really beautiful animations, and the whole thing is that there's this character in it who he has these dream sequences throughout, and sometimes he gets a little bit confused with, did I dream that? Did that actually happen? Number 26 was Box. So I went for a boxing film, which is it called $1 Million Baby or $1 Million Baby? I confess I haven't actually seen it, although I think it's on Netflix at the moment, so maybe I will watch it. But actually quite pleased with the illustration that I did for this. Number 27 was Creepy. So one of the films, or one of the characters that I always used to find creepy as a child, and still find very creepy, is the child catcher. I'm really happy with the way that I used colour in this, because I sort of made the foregrounds bit quite bright, where he's, you know, offering them the candy, and then the rest of it is all quite sort of grey. Number 28 is Burn, and I did a scene from Frankenstein where Frankenstein's monster is Scared of Fire. It kind of looks like it's on fire. Number 29 was, number 29 was Surprise. So I did The Sixth Sense. Again, you've probably all seen The Sixth Sense by now. You know there's a twist at the end, right? Number 30 was Life of Pi. This one I was quite happy with. I don't know if I found a pen or if I had a blue ink. I think it was blue ink that I watered down a lot. Yeah, just to give it a little hint of colour. And then, last one for this year. Right, so number 31 was Friends. So I did a film called Inside I'm Dancing. Shout out to my sister Lucy, who recommended this film to me. She has good film choices. This is a film about two friends who they're both in a wheelchair and they're staying in this sort of care home, and then they manage to get their own place together, and it's just their friendship together. So it's a good film. Recommend you go watch that. That was all the ones from Inktober 2016 that I did. Moving on to last year, first one that I did was a sketch of my husband Tom and our friend Lloyd, because we were quite busy that day and we'd gone round for dinner. I think we probably played a game. Knowing us, we probably played a game. Suddenly thought, it's October, I need to draw something. So literally just did a quick sketch of them. And I think it came out quite well. I'd picked up one of the pens that Jake Parker recommends. It's a really nice pen that it's got like thin end, but it sort of tapers. Day 2 of Inktober, I experimented quite a lot. I had some kind of metallic-y paints that I'd bought. So I used these metallic-y paints, which are really pretty colours. Sort of looks a little bit like a makeup palette or something. So yeah, I thought I'd use those to try and make this pretty smoke that we saw at one of my friends' weddings. Day 3 of Inktober, again, I was using the metallic-y paints. I'd taken a photo recently. We'd been out, and usually whenever I see a statue, I want to take a photo of it. So this was not just a statue, but a merman statue. So of course, why would you not want to draw a merman statue? Day 4 of Inktober, I drew some deer that we'd seen recently when we went to Knoll Park. I will leave a link to Knoll Park if you've never been there. If you live in Kent in the UK, definitely recommend going. It's one of the National Trust places. It's very pretty and there's deer walking about, so yeah. My tea is really cold. This is what happens when you ramble for ages and you don't drink your tea. Yeah, so the next drawing I did was of my husband. I didn't really have much of a focus of what I was doing for this Inktober because I wasn't following the prompts and I didn't really have an idea of what I was doing, other than I was gonna basically just draw some different things from my life and from some photos that I'd taken. So this was a photo I'd taken of somewhere in Port Miriam, which is in Wales. But yeah, it doesn't really look like most places in Wales because it's meant to look like an Italian village. But yeah, and I'll leave some links in the description to like their sort of visit page. I actually did a little video, I did a time lapse of, which is of some penguins, because I like penguins. That's pretty much all that there was to it. So yeah, so first of all, I just used the chiselled end of a pen, and I was quite pleased because I didn't actually do any sort of underdrawing. I didn't do any pencil drawing beforehand. I just went straight into it. I think sometimes if you're drawing animals, you can feel a bit freer than if you're drawing people, because people have to look like people, I guess. I don't know. So we're up to day number 7 now, and I have been watching The Good Place. It's a TV show. It's quite sort of light-hearted comedy show, which is all about like ethics, and it's about a character who gets into heaven, but she shouldn't really be there. And then, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, this scene just, it really made me laugh. I won't explain why, but Janet just keeps giving Michael cactuses, and yeah. And oh, so I'd forgotten that I'd drawn this. This is a drawing of me and Tom and our friend Ed, and we were playing, it's not The Walking Dead because that's a show, Dead of Winter. It's a zombie game, and you have these really cool little like zombie sort of cutout things. It's quite fun. I will link it below. You may have noticed that I've had a costume change, just to keep you on your toes. I was editing through the footage and realised that I'd actually done more Inktober drawings last year than I thought I had. I think I took a bit of a break in between. So I got up to day 9, and this is an illustration of me, my sister, and my sister's boyfriend Joe holding some pumpkins. It's quite a sort of cartoony image, and I tried to sort of get the effect of it being quite dark, and sort of having the glowing pumpkins. Next illustration I did full colour, all in marker pens, and this is of some wild horses that we saw when we were in the Lake District. Yeah, we went there a couple of years ago. We'd just been driving down, and I made Tom stop so we could go and see them and take some photographs. They were very, very big. Still quite friendly. It was quite funny. One of them actually started licking our car. So I was joking that we were getting a car wash. The next illustration is a drawing of me and my friends in fancy dress. I did mention earlier in the video that I am a bit of a Buffy fan, and one year I decided I was going to go as Buffy. The costume was basically a blonde wig, a cross, and a stake. And my friends happened to go as vampires as well, so seems like a good photo op. Day number 12, I decided to draw my cat. She's quite difficult to draw because she's completely black. But what I did here is I used, I think it was like a grey marker pen that I had, and then I used the Pentel pen to go and do sort of like the lines of her fur. Day number 13, I've drawn a cuttlefish. A bit random, but I've put in the comments on Instagram that we were watching Coast round my parents' house, so I decided to draw a cuttlefish, as you do. Like I said, last year's ones were a little bit more random. It was just a sort of collection of what I was up to and looking back through some photos, wondering what to draw. So the next Inktober drawing was of my friends dancing at their wedding. Seemed to have lots of friends' weddings. Yeah, I didn't do any drawing on the actual day of their wedding because I was a little bit busy, but yeah, got back to it the next day. Day number 16, I drew some pumpkins because we had just gone to pick our own pumpkins. Yeah, it was really fun. It was the first time that I'd actually gone and picked a pumpkin other than just when you pick it up at the supermarket. It's easy to get kind of carried away by seeing all the different kind of like funky colour ones, and you go around pushing a wheelbarrow. And yeah, I was trying not to pile the wheelbarrow with too many things. And then the last one, and I'm pretty sure that this is actually the last one that I did last year, is just some autumnal leaves. Yeah, so that is all the Inktober drawings. I'm now going to pass back to past Emma, and talk a bit about what I'm planning this year for Inktober. Yeah, so my plans for Inktober this year are I want to have my own characters and my own scenes, which is going to be a bit of work. I've already started just planning what I'm going to have on each day, and I've started just doing some thumbnails of what the scene's going to be. I'm not going to say anything more than that, other than because it's October and Halloween is at the end of October, there might be a slightly spooky theme going on there. My recommendations for Inktober, if you haven't done it before, or if you've done it before but you didn't maybe make it all the way to the end, I would say it's okay to not do every day. I know actually on the website they say, you know, you could do like the marathon version or the 5k version, so you could do one drawing a week. Basically do what you can so you don't feel too stressed about it, because it's meant to be fun. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I can edit it down so it's not really long. Subscribe if you're new, and also hit the notification button, that way you'll know when I upload a new video. And the next video coming should be my first Inktober video, so let me know if you're doing Inktober as well. Let me know if you've done it before in the past. Did you actually manage to make it all the way to the end? And yeah, what are your tips for